Good morning, YouTube. Well, the GX Washer Fluid Pump is not pumping, so we're going to replace it today with a new washer pump. So I'll show you at the end. Your sprayers are open. I'll show you actually how to adjust your spray nozzles, right? Because you got a total of 6 on the front. But for me, one way to test it, your back sprayer work, which is a different pump. And then does the front sprayer work? So I'll show you basically how to replace both, even though I'm just going to do this one today. So let's get in it, right? So you're going to need to get to it from the bottom. So you're going to need to pick the GX up, presumably, unless you're real skinny and you can get up underneath. So I've got it up on the ramps. Got our new part. This one's a Trico part. I'll link to a couple of versions of this. And then you're going to need to remove the lower skid plate. All right, so I've got that off. So let's take a look at what it looks like underneath and let's get on it. All right, so underneath, remove the skid plate, right? So if you've never done that, right, there's two actually there should be 3 forward bolts. Mine came off, so I just have 2. And then there's 4 main bolts that go in. It's pretty easy to take off, right, and just lower down yourself. So easy, you need to do it if you're gonna change your oil anyways. All right, so when we get in here, right underneath is where the bottom of the reservoir is, right? And so there's got this little kind of cowling on here. So here's our front pump, right? So we're just going to take that off. Almost not dissimilar to doing a light bulb. Should be pretty easy. If your back one is not working, you can remove this, and then there's your rear pump, right? So either way, right? So we can get to both of them, get your electrical cable, and then your actual fluid for the back, and then the same in the front, right? So we're gonna move these out of the way, right? So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm gonna get these back ones kind of just unpinned here and out of our way for the front. All right, there we go, okay. And then now, I'm gonna disconnect my my electrical connector. So as always, it's kind of a two-handed job. All right, so just push in on this tab and then push up. And so we now got our connector off. All right, so before we get started, I've just removed the water connector, right, the line. And I'm just gonna let it drain out, right? So, because once I open this up, it's just gonna flood out. So give it a minute and let it drain out. So unlike other parts where you might like rotate it and pull out, this was just literally stuck in there with an O-ring. So you're just gonna have to work it out, right? But once all this fluid is drained out, and of course mine is completely full, so we'll give it a minute, then we'll get going. All right, so just some wiggling and kind of, bending, and then it comes out, right? And so there's this O-ring, right? That's really what's holding it in. So you're just gonna kind of work it until it pops out. There's a new O-ring, at least with the one I got. So it's just a matter of popping the new one back in. Let's do it. All right, so taking a look at it, I'm gonna slide this O-ring off, put it in, and then slide this back in. I think that might be an easier way. Let's try it. All right, so I got the O-ring slipped in, right? So there's kind of a lip, right? So you get some that's still hanging out the back side. Now let's slide it in and see if that's a little easier. Get the old wiggle. All right, put my phone down for a second. Yeah, that's definitely the way to do it. It slipped right in, just, it had a little kind of twist and wiggle, and it popped right in. So that, yeah, take the O-ring off, put the O-ring on first, then slide the washer in. Much easier. That was easy peasy. Now we're just gonna slip this washer fluid hose back on, and then we'll plug it back in. Okay. We place our other hoses back into their holders. There we go. Done and done, easy peasy. All right, let's go test it. All right, it took just a couple of pumps to prime it. Boom. Windshield wipers are working. All right, show you how to work these. If they're a little off for you or clogged, let me show you how to fix that. All right, so a lot of cars just have 2 squirters. The GX, being fancy, has 3 per item, but it's the same idea. So take a straight pin, right, from a sewing kit. You could also use a safety pin, basically as long as it's got that pointy end, and you just very simply put it in the hole, and you can gently kind of wallow it out if you've got some buildup, right? And then more importantly, once it's in there, you can actually use it. These are little ball sockets, right? So these can actually be re-aimed. So you put that into the aimer, and then you can move it a little bit, right? And then you test it and see if it's where you want it. So you can do that on pretty much any car. They're all that way. So you can clean it out, and you can re-aim it if they're not shooting in the right place. Just change it, right? Easy peasy. All right. As always, I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna put the skid pan back on, and we'll be done. Not a bad one, not a bad fix at all. All right, have a good day.